Miracles in the Night, Inspiration from an Old Train.
Sarah took a deep breath as she glanced at her watch. At 23:45. He had just finished an important project that forced him to work late into the night. With unsteady steps, Sarah left her towering office building in downtown New York. The streets are quiet. Only occasionally could I hear the roar of passing cars and the barking of dogs from a distance. Sarah tightened her jacket, fighting the bone-chilling cold night wind. He walked quickly towards the nearest underground station, hoping he could still catch the last train. Arriving at the station, Sarah was surprised to find the atmosphere so quiet. Usually, even at the last hour, there were still some people waiting for the train. But tonight, the platform was nearly empty. There was only an old man sitting on a long bench, a middle-aged woman standing reading a book, and a young man pacing restlessly. Sarah checked the train schedule. There is still one more train that will pass in 5 minutes. He breathed a sigh of relief and leaned against the pillar, closing his eyes for a moment. Drowsiness started to attack him. Suddenly, a metallic screeching sound broke the silence. Sarah opened her eyes and gasped. In front of him, an old train rolled into the station. Strange, Sarah thought. It wasn't a regular train that usually passed by. The carriage looked worn and rusty, with pitch-black windows. "Excuse me," Sarah greeted the middle-aged woman nearby. "Is this the last train?" The woman just shook her head slowly without taking her eyes off her book. Sarah frowned, confused. For some reason, he felt compelled to board the mysterious train. As if there was an invisible force pulling him. "Don't!" shouted the young man suddenly, making Sarah jump. "Don't get on that train." But too late. Sarah's feet had already stepped in. As soon as he was inside, the doors closed with a deafening crash. The train was traveling at high speed, through the darkness of the tunnel that seemed endless. Sarah looked around frantically. The carriage was empty and dimly lit, only lit by the dim light of a few flickering lamps. At the corner of the carriage, he saw the old man who had been sitting on the platform. The man smiled kindly at him. "Welcome, Sarah," the old man said in a strangely calming voice. How do you know my name?" Sarah asked tremblingly. "And where is this train taking me?" The old man chuckled softly. "I know a lot, kid. And this train? Well, you could say it's the train of life. You were chosen for an important journey." "I don't understand," Sarah shook her head in confusion. "What does all this mean?" "Life is full of mysteries and fears, Sarah," answered the man wisely. "We often feel lost, not knowing where we are going. But the key is to keep moving forward, even though you don't know what awaits you ahead." Sarah was silent, digesting those words. He really felt like he had lost direction in his life. The work that takes up his time feels increasingly empty. His romantic relationship had just ended. He felt trapped in a boring routine. How can I find my way?" Sarah asked quietly. "By listening to your inner voice," answered the old man. "By having the courage to face your fears. By opening yourself to new possibilities." Suddenly the train stopped suddenly, making Sarah almost fall. The doors opened, revealing a view of a vast grassland under a starry sky. A cool breeze blew in, carrying the scent of grass and wild flowers. "This is your stop," said the old man. "Remember, Sarah. Darkness can only be defeated with light from within yourself. Believe in your strength." Sarah stepped out hesitantly. As soon as her feet touched the grass, the carriage disappeared in the blink of an eye, leaving Sarah alone in that strange place. But instead of panicking, Sarah felt at peace. He looked at the stars scattered in the night sky, sparkling like jewels. The gentle wind caressed his face, as if whispering the promise of a better tomorrow. Sarah took a deep breath, absorbing the stillness of the night. For the first time in who knows how long, he felt alive. Feel free. Whatever will happen, he is ready to face it. Thank you, whispered Sarah to no one in particular. Maybe at that mysterious old man. Maybe on the magic train that carried him. Or maybe at himself, who finally dared to step out of his comfort zone. Sarah closed her eyes and smiled. He doesn't know what lies ahead, but he knows one thing, his journey has only just begun. The next morning, Sarah woke up in her own bed. It all felt like a very real dream. But when he was getting ready for the office, Sarah found a sprig of grass tucked in his pocket. Proof that his experience last night was not just an illusion. That day, Sarah went to the office with new enthusiasm. He proposed fresh ideas in meetings, chatted with colleagues he had never met before, and even had the courage to ask a man he had secretly liked for lunch for a long time. That evening, Sarah sat on the balcony of her apartment, looking at the twinkling lights of New York City. He smiled, holding the stalk of grass tightly. Tomorrow, he is determined to start looking for a new job that is more in line with his passion. He also plans to sign up for a painting class on the weekend. Life is full of mysteries. But Sarah now knows that with courage and self-belief, she can find miracles in every step.